Welcome guys to this new series I'm going to be starting that will cover the basics and some specifics of coding plugins for Spigot on Minecraft. In this series, we're going to go over the setup, coding, and testing processes of creating a plugin for multiplayer servers. In this episode, we'll cover the basic setup of our environment. Make sure to subscribe and hit the bell icon to be notified of whenever a new episode of this series releases. Now, let's get started. You can find all resources that we're using in the description below. So first, we're going to be downloading 3 tools, the first being Eclipse. Eclipse is an IDE, or an integrated development environment for Java code, which is the language we'll be writing in. For this series, you should have at least a basic understanding of Java syntax, and if you have no experience, that is okay, but you might want to look elsewhere for tutorials in Java itself. I will be explaining concepts as the series progresses. So let's go to the download page and download the latest version of Eclipse. When it's finished, open it up and you should get a menu of different editions you can install. We're going to choose Eclipse IDE for Java developers. Choose your installation folder and click Install. Next, we're going to be installing Build Tools. Build Tools is a simple program to retrieve the latest Spigot files. It's the official way provided by the Spigot team, so that's what we'll be using. Now, let's not open Build Tools just yet. The last tool we will need is the Java JDK, or Java Development Kit. This last program is optional, but you may run into some issues without having it installed. Scroll down until you find your operating system's version and install. This one's a little more tedious now since you have to create an account to install it, but no worries, I already have it installed. Now that we have all our tools installed, let's set up our coding environment. I've placed a shortcut to Eclipse, our workspace, and Build Tools in a folder on my desktop. Let's move Build Tools to a separate folder. I called it Jars, to not have everything get cluttered. Open the folder and double-click Build Tools to generate all the files you need. This will take a while. Once that's done, right-click and create a new file. Name it run.bat. Open this with whatever text file editor you use. I use Notepad++. In this file, type java-jar and let's tell it to run buildtools.jar. Now we need to specify what version of Spigot we want to grab. We can use any version of Minecraft we want, including 1.8.8, 1.12, 1.15, any version. But if we want to use the latest version, just type latest. We're going to be using the latest. Save the file and let's run it. This will also take quite a bit. When it's done, you'll see your Spigot folder generated. Now we can start coding. Let's open up Eclipse. You can use either your default workspace or use a different one. I put mine on my desktop. I'm going to select that. Let's create a new project. Click the icon at the top left and select Java Project. Set your project name to anything you want. I'm just going to do Tutorial Plugin. Once you name your plugin, click Finish. Now for our plugin to run Spigot, we're going to have to add it as a library. Right-click your project and select Properties. Click Java Build Path and go to the Libraries tab. Since Spigot is a separate jar outside of our plugin, we're going to select Add External Jar. Find your generated Spigot.jar and select it. Once you've done that, you can apply and close. Now we want to make it so when our server launches, Spigot recognizes our plugin. We could do this by creating a plugin.yml file, so let's do that. We need 3 lines to register our plugin properly. The first thing we need is the name. This is what will show up in the logs when the plugin is loaded and in the /plugins command in game. I'll just call our plugin Tutorial Plugin. Because of naming conventions, try to keep this in one word. Next, we have to give our plugin our version. This should be updated with every new instance of our plugin that we release. Let's just set it to 1.0. Next, we have to specify our main class. Just type in main and we'll come back to this. Finally, let's just add an author. I'll put in my Minecraft username for this field. Let's create our main package for our plugin to rest in. Right-click SRC, hover over New, and select Package. The convention for naming your package is using your personal website URL, so I'll use that. If you don't have one, you can just type com.yourname.yourplugin's name. Click Finish and a package will be created. Let's create our main class inside of here. Because this is our main class, you can just call it the plugin name. I recommend you capitalize the first letter of each word for class names. Once you've filled out the name, click Finish. The first thing we need to do is have Spigot recognize that our main class is in fact a plugin class, so we need to change our class's type to a Java plugin. We can do this by going up to our class definition and typing extends Java plugin. You'll see a red line under Java plugin. Just hover over it and select the Java plugin class to import it. This makes sure Java knows we're using Spigot classes. Now let's head back to our plugin.yml file to update our main field. Here we just fill in our package name .our main class name. In my case, this is us.toadally.tutorial.tutorial plugin. Once that's done, we can begin adding basic methods to our plugin. Let's head back to our main class. Let's add two basic onEnable and onDisable functions. I'll explain what public and void means in a Java Basics episode. I'm just going to make it so my plugin prints something to console when it is enabled and disabled. For this, just type system.out.println and in parentheses and quotes, put what you want it to say. Once that's done, we can export our plugin. Right-click your project folder and select Export. Open Java and select jar file. Browse to where you want to export your jar file. Give it a name. I'll just call it tutorial plugin latest.jar and save it. Now click Export. I'm going to add this plugin to my test server, and let's see how it runs. And there's our message. Thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure to subscribe and check out our other tutorials. That's all, and I'll see you next time.